Eat, Pray, Love is a true story about Elizabeth Gilbert, a woman most people would say was living a pretty successful life. She had a husband, friends, and a successful career, but something inside her just didn't feel right. After going through a divorce, depression, and another failed romance, she chose to make a radical life change, to leave her life behind for a year to travel to Rome, India, and Bali. Before I went abroad, I found myself in a really low point, similar to Liz's. I'm sitting on these rocks I grew up on, looking out over the Long Island Sound in my small Connecticut hometown. It was a warm June night, and as the wind is blowing through my hair, I'm cupping the sand in between my hands as I'm watching the sun go down, feeling completely lost as to where I belonged. Similar to Liz, something within me just didn't sit right either. Later that night, I came home to an email on my computer, an email that gave me the motivation Liz had to change her life. So I did. In the 4 months I spent living in Rome, I traveled all around Europe in this giant search to fill this void I had. During each trip, I learned a little more about myself, but it was Rome, Dublin, and Venice where I really felt that feeling of belonging. My first night of my 4-month living experience in Rome, Italy, I'm walking up to my apartment with my roommates after we just went out for our first Italian pizza. And as I'm taking my final step up to the 7th floor, I hear someone say to me, "Aren't you Meg?" I look up to find a boy my best friend from home put me in touch with before I left and told me I had to meet. I could feel myself turning beet red from embarrassment because I'm winded after climbing up 7 flights of stairs, that all I could do was lock eyes with him and smile. February 14th, I found out that this person would eventually become my best friend. Ireland is still to this day the most breathtaking place I've ever seen. My first night in Dublin, my friends and I are out on a pub crawl, and the man guiding the pub crawl to all the different pubs and bars around the city opens up with this dramatic introduction saying, "Tonight, folks, will be the best night of your life." Well, he was right. As I'm taking my Irish cider from the bartender's hand, I start faintly hearing a familiar tune in the background. I step down the stairs to see 4 men breaking out into an Irish jig with violence in hand, going absolutely wild. I remember Galway Girl filling my ears as tears are streaming down my face, and my heart feels as if it's about to burst. And I know in that very moment, I'm feeling happiness for the first time in as long as I could remember. My friend Mike, still to this day, says he's never seen a happier person in his entire life. Remember that boy I met at the top of the stairs in Rome? Well, he helped me learn a different kind of happiness in Venice. He made an entire trip itinerary that he would never let me see because he wanted everything to be this big surprise. So the first day we're walking to the heart of Venice, and we're walking across this first bridge of water towards the playground, surrounded by this garden of tulips. And I turned to him asking what was first on the list. He pulls my hand, turning me slightly so he could look me directly in the eyes, and says, "The best way to really see Venice is to go and get lost." An unexpected phrase from him that I'll never forget. At the end of Eat, Pray, Love, Liz Gilbert comes to believe in the physics of the quest, a force in nature governed by the laws as real as the laws of gravity. The rule of quest physics goes something like this. If you are brave enough to leave behind everything familiar and comforting, which can be anything from your house to bitter old resentments, and set out on a truth-seeking journey either externally or internally. And if you are truly willing to regard everything that happens to you on that journey as a clue, and if you accept everyone you meet along the way as a teacher, and if you are prepared, most of all, to face and forgive some very difficult realities about yourself, then the truth will not be withheld from you. Studying abroad did more than just change me. It gave me control of my life back. After living my own version of Liz's journey, I've discovered love and acceptance. I fell in love in Rome and Venice, and in Dublin, I learned true acceptance of myself and what makes me happy. For me, Getting lost was the thing I needed in order to figure out what I had to do to discover who I was, which is why I encourage everyone to take this risk. Because in the end, getting lost in the world could end up being the best way to find yourself.